You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work, and the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Great things in business are never done by one person, they're done by a team of people. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And, most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. For the past 33 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, what I want to do, what I am about to today. And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. My favorite things in life don't cost any money. It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. That's been one of my mantras: focus and simplicity. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean, to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences they've had and synthesize new things. Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. An iPod, a phone, an internet mobile communicator. These are not three separate devices, and we are calling it iPhone. Today Apple is going to reinvent the phone, and here it is. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me. Everyone here has the sense that right now is one of those moments when we are influencing the future. Computers themselves, and software yet to be developed, will revolutionize the way we learn. Technology is nothing. What's important is that you have a faith in people, that they're basically good and smart, and if you give them tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. Sometimes when you innovate, you make mistakes. It is best to admit them quickly and get on with improving your other innovations. I want to put a dig in the universe. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. You can't just ask customers what they want and then try to give that to them. By the time you get it built, they'll want something new. A lot of people in our industry haven't had very diverse experiences, so they don't have enough dots to connect, and they end up with very linear solutions without a broad perspective on the problem. The broader one's understanding of the human experience, the better design we will have. It's not a faith in technology, it's faith in people. Things don't have to change the world to be important. I believe life is an intelligent thing, that things aren't random. My biological mother later found out that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would someday go to college. We made the buttons on the screen look so good you'll want to lick them. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. We're just enthusiastic about what we do. If you're gonna make connections, which are innovative, you have to not have the same bag of experiences as everyone else does. Our goal is to make the best devices in the world, not to be the biggest. For you to sleep well at night, the aesthetic, the quality has to be carried all the way through. When you're young, you look at television and think there's a conspiracy. The networks have conspired to dumb us down. But when you get a little older, you realize that's not true. The networks are in business to give people exactly what they want. I'm an optimist in the sense that I believe humans are noble and honorable, and some of them are really smart. I have a very optimistic view of individuals. When you're a carpenter making a beautiful chest of drawers, you're not going to use a piece of plywood on the back, even though it faces the wall and nobody will ever see it. You'll know it's there, so you're going to use a beautiful piece of wood on the back. I've always wanted to own and control the primary technology in everything we do. I think money is a wonderful thing because it enables you to do things. It enables you to invest in ideas that don't have a short-term payback. The system is that there is no system. That doesn't mean we don't have process. Apple is a very disciplined company, and we have great processes, but that's not what it's about. Process makes you more efficient. I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of, such as getting my girlfriend pregnant when I was 23 and the way I handled that. It's not the tools that you have faith in. Tools are just tools. They work or they don't work. It's people you have faith in or not. Yeah, sure. I'm still optimistic. I get pessimistic sometimes, but not for long. We don't get a chance to do that many things, and everyone should be really excellent, because this is our life. Life is brief, and then you die, you know. So this is what we've chosen to do with our life. The overall point is that new technology will not necessarily replace old technology, but it will date it. By definition, eventually, it will replace it. But it's like people who had black and white TVs when color came out. They eventually decided whether or not the new technology was worth the investment. Design is a funny word. Some people think design means how it looks. But, of course, if you dig deeper, it's really how it works. Older people sit down and ask, "What is it?" But the boy asks, "What can I do with it?" The reason that Apple is able to create products like the iPad is because we've always tried to be at the intersection of technology and the liberal arts. I have a great respect for incremental improvement, and I've done that sort of thing in my life, but I've always been attracted to the more revolutionary changes. I don't know why. Because they're harder, they're much more stressful emotionally, and you usually go through a period where everybody tells you that you've completely failed. My model for business is the Beatles. They were four guys that kept each other's negative tendencies in check. They balanced each other, and the total was greater than the sum of the parts. And it comes from saying no to 1,000 things to make sure we don't get on the wrong track or try to do too much. We're always thinking about new markets we could enter, but it's only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important. Innovation has nothing to do with how many R&D dollars you have. When Apple came up with the Mac, IBM was spending at least 100 times more on R&D. It's not about money, it's about the people you have, how you're led, and how much you get it. What is Apple, after all? Apple is about people who think outside the box, people who want to use computers to help them change the world, to help them create things that make a difference, and not just to get a job done. I was lucky I found what I love to do early in life. And I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We hire people who want to make the best things in the world. And no, we don't know where it will lead. We just know there's something much bigger than any of us here. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. As individuals, people are inherently good. I have a somewhat more pessimistic view of people in groups, and I remain extremely concerned when I see what's happening in our country, which is in many ways the luckiest place in the world. We don't seem to be excited about making our country a better place for our kids.